a good.
So,
Here's some expectation
You
that
can-
you're gonna answer right away.
Exactly.
right, you're training them on how you're willing to live your
Be
life.
with them. Yeah.
You know, there's certain people we may know in our lives that are very disciplined. And you're like, you kind of know, like, oh no, I can't go there.
Yeah.
You know, and it's crazy to think of it like people that in our lives that have like 9 to 5 jobs. We've been trained to say we can't call them.
So after.
But then we're in real estate, people are like, oh, I can call them anytime. They're in real
Yeah.
estate. But if you were working for somebody else, you'd be like, oh no, I can only take personal calls at like 12
Right.
and my breaks.
So.
Like, why are we any different? Why do we treat
We're
ourselves? any different?
not. In fact, I learned that early on. My very first deal, this client was texting me at like 10, 11 o'clock at night. I'm like, no, wait a minute. I am open from 8:30
Yeah.
till 7 PM. Those
Yep.
are my hours that I'm comfortable with.
Right.
And
Right,
unless it's a fire,
right,
it can wait.
right, exactly. So I think time habits are important. I think relationship habits with people in our lives are, we create habits of how we're going to interact with those people and when we're going to be open to any and everything they want to throw our way. And then question habits, I think, are important. Question habits are probably one we never even think
What's the
about.
question habit?
Questioning habits. I believe that if you just focus on the relationships you're building and your career, that it'll change everything for you. You know, because the deeper you dive with people, the more you're gonna have that opportunity when the time comes. If you could get a new lead from whatever source it comes from, referral, Googly, whatever, if you could figure out how to stay on the phone with them for 20 minutes, that first call, just talking about them, their lives, you know, maybe common connections, any commonality in your life, whatever it may be, learning about them and asking the right questions, that your entire life will change. And that comes true with even people in our personal lives too, is what are the questions we're asking? You know, are we really curious and empathetic towards the people that are coming into our lives? Or are we just very shallow and like trying to figure out how they're our next deal? So I think questioning habits are extremely important. I had one that I was thinking about shooting on reel, which is basically like, you know, what's the question you run into somebody on the street? What is and you have to like say some kind of salutation. What is the question everybody asks?
How are you?
How are you? Where does it usually end?
Good.
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 Great, great. We're moving on. We're moving on.
Yeah.
Right? Now what's next? Now, okay, are you looking to buy? What?
I
No.
usually say like, what have you been up to?
Yes. What have you been up to?
Yeah.
Tell me something good that's going on with you today.
Yeah.
Like, and I think we need to think about those things. So we have to create new habits or the type of questions we're going to ask and how we're going to be deeper with those questions instead of just asking yes, no questions and moving on to the subject at hand.
Right.
Or the subject that you hope to end up at some point. We all hope to end up at the closing, but we're just trying to fast forward it so quickly. We're not focusing on the relationships. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, you want to ask those typical old school realtor questions. Are you pre-approved? How soon you looking to buy? Do you have your down payment money? Do you have your closing costs? If you don't stop asking those questions, you're gonna have a hard time moving forward because
And it's
people
also
have heard it for many years. Question, well, why are you looking? You know, tell me a little bit more about your family and what makes you guys want to be making a move. You know, getting deeper with people. So that's a habit that we may not have naturally in us yet, that we have to create new habits with. Like even if it's ancillary, like, you know, I know, you know, Ted, you're great at just really like talking to people. So, and you're building new relationships in that new job you have, and like consciously thinking about how can I keep building more relationships in this world? Because now I'm exposed to people that I wasn't going to be exposed to before, and it's a bridge. It's a common bridge. You're in a common place. You have you know, commonality from a standpoint of kids that are in the school system. You have parents that are seeing their kids getting on the, whatever it is, like building that commonality and getting deeper. So I think we have to have really good questioning skills as part of our new habit base. All right. So all that being said, we've got what, half hour left? We've got a half hour left. So I want you to take 10 minutes. We probably don't have as much time as I want to this, and we'll probably do a follow-up session where you could really perfect your story. But and then you're gonna have to work on your habits. Your story is gonna be like, I put in these, and maybe your story has some of those new habits in it. Do you want me to read you my story?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'll read you my story and then you'll have an idea of what I'm talking about. And don't be afraid to make these lofty. If you don't hit your goals, no matter what, if you're working on the habits that are going to get you there, you're going to become a different person. We're too connected. It's good to have the goal in mind. And even if I'm putting a time frame on it at the end of 23, if I don't hit it, I'm okay with that. I know I'm going to be on the path to that. Whether that path takes 1 or 2 years, maybe 3, I don't know yet, but I'm trying to create the habits that are going to get me there by 2023, but I'm gonna drop any feelings of I'm gonna fail if I don't get there.
Oh,
Because one of the
yeah.
things I think you need to start looking at life as an infinite game. You know, we all have a finite amount of time in our lives, but our goals, we need to look at more like an infinite. We're on the road to this. You know, nobody's gonna judge you or should be judging you. And if they do judge you, then they probably shouldn't be in your life. Whether you hit that goal by 2020, end of 2023 or not. Like, because the fact that you're progressing and becoming a new person and becoming the person that will get to this point or have that come into your life is what's most important.
And will naturally get you results.
It will.
without focusing on the first.
Right.
So,
Exactly. Focus on the habits that are going to, like, you could create a bunch of new habits and in 30 days have new habits in your life. You're not going to have the money yet, but you're going to be that person that'll get that and it'll have it attracted to your life. And then it's just continuing those habits to the point where all those things actually do show up in your life.
okay.
All right, so I am totally blown away by the success I've had and attracted in 2023. I owe it all to my real family, helping me unlock my inner beast and encouraging me to keep going after my dreams. This year, I've become the true, unapologetic, and authentic Tracy Barber. Why was 2023 such an amazing year, you might ask? Well, first, I focused every day on a mindful choice of who I need to be and want to become, while making sure I surrounded myself with like-minded colleagues who are on the same growth path to collaborate with on a daily basis. I made a mindful choice to constantly seek to align myself with more shining stars to grow our network and build a better future with. I envisioned my 75 agent network growing to 750. I developed my import and who partnerships and kept this in my daily thoughts and actions. My first who's were who I needed to have in my life above me, which is why we're with Real. And my next who's were who I could bring into this high value ecosystem at Real Broker. I seeked out and aligned with 15 strategic growth partners that are now part of our world and growing their tribes. At the end of last year, I spent countless hours perfecting the automations that would intentionally attract the clients and partners who value me and my team at a scalable level that would allow our teams to grow to 500 deals per year. Through this intentional focus on value-based marketing, I was able to also list and sell 50 homes personally, as well with focused time investment and through the leverage of my team members and my VA admins. This focus on automation and finding my who's also allowed me to scale Powered by Agents quickly to 300 paying subscribers. As of 12/31/23, I am now overseeing my businesses on a daily basis and bringing in over 80,000 a month in net income. I celebrated this success with my family at Disney World for a Christmas vacation. I am now looking on to the next year with full belief that I will double my business in the next year and begin adding even more income streams to my life. I absolutely love my life and know that 2024 will be even more amazing. And then you have to obviously create your goals and your action plans and your habits after that. So right now, I just want you to write the story. After the session, you'll create your habits and I'll reach out to every one of you and I want you to basically after the session, send me your story and your habits, the new habits you're working on creating.
What was that after action goals?
So I had action, must reach goals. Those are the kind of the pullouts from the story of the goals I want to hit. And I'm saying must reach, but I'm fully accepting if I don't hit it, I'm going to make my goddamnest effort at getting there.
Okay.
I'm going to be okay with myself if I don't get there, but I'm going to be working my hardest to get there. maybe it'll happen by end of 2023, but if not, I can almost assure myself it'll happen by 2024 because it's bound to happen at some point when I become this person that I need to be. I won't go through all my action plans, but my most critical major actions are getting my VAs trained. And so they know how to help me out, because I tend to get into the, like you guys talked about, the details every single day. I get into the minute details, like, oh, now I don't have time to train a VA on how to show somebody how to do this empowered by agents. I need to just show them myself. Like, no, I don't need to do that.
Right.
I need to have my consistent ad programs running. I need to work on finding my growth partners that I want to team with. Onboarding, I need to have totally automated. I need to grow my Instagram. So I've got a bunch of active action plans, and then I have weekly must-have habits, 10 Zooms, distraction killer plans. I'm still working on this. It's still a work in progress.
I like the way you laid it out.
Yeah.
And I
me
can
too.
send you the format for this.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that would be great.
Yeah.
So your story is going to be one that you want to read over and over again. This is who I've become. This is who I am. You have to have the vision of who you are, and you have to have the story.
Yeah.
You know, you can just say, I'm going to be this, but if you don't have a story that you can envision yourself reading at the end of 12/31, then you're not there yet. You need a story. You need the story to be almost so you believe it. Like, I'm telling this story, this is where I'm at the end of 12/31. If that story ends up being slightly different, it's okay. Okay. But you're going after it.
Because there's still changes that were made.
Correct. Or,
Habits.
I had this for 2022. The economy kind of hit us all by right in the in the cheek, boom, punch right to the face. That's going to happen in life. Doesn't mean you just throw
Did
it
you
all
get
away and
close up?
say
Did you get close to some of that stuff?
25%, and that's probably
Okay.
acceptable in the fact that the market changed so much. But it's we're gonna all have things that sometimes are out of our control that set us aside. It's not a perfect straight line. Never gonna be a perfect straight line.
No, and
So,
there's
but-
some setbacks.
But it doesn't mean you change your goal and say, well, I didn't make it by 2023, so I have to reboot everything. None of my habits worked. I can promise you, if you do this work, the habits that you're going to want to put in your life, they won't change next year. You may be working at getting better at them, but they're all personal habits that we need to make that, are going to help us move the dime on who we are today to who we want to become. And there is no finish line. 2023, December 31st is not the finish line.
No.
There is no finish line. Well, the finish line is when we croak.
Yeah.
That's the finish line. Well, maybe it isn't. We don't know. We don't know what the finish line is. Maybe that's not the finish
For
line.
here on earth.
For here on this earth, it's our life, but we don't know when that day is going to come.
Right.
So in between now and then, it's just, are you getting better every day? Are you working towards this? If I don't hit this by the end of 23, do I change this? No. That's the word, the goal I want to work towards. I'm trying to make that happen by the end of 12/31, but I know that I'm just going to be working towards these habits and the actions that I need to take to get there. And it can't help but move me forward.
Right.
It can't help. If you have a worthy goal backed by habits and actions that you need to take, then as long as you keep reading it and keep focusing on it, you can't just sit where you are. You can't just say. So, all right. So take the next 10 minutes and write your story.
I wrote my story last night.
You did.
Oh.
All right.
Did we know about that?
It was.
That was
text
some
I
homework.
got.
See,
I didn't
a lot of us are
see
just
that.
we got out of school and we're like, oh, homework. No, do
Yeah.
not do not put that word in front of
You
me.
gotta be honest, Facebook is hard for me, was it an email or was it?
Yeah, I sent out a text too.
Oh, okay.
I don't
Yeah.
like my email.
Scanned it.
It's me.
Oh,
Yeah,
Well, that's my delivery system. That's powered by agents.
I wasn't sure if that's a real person.
It is.
Like accident, if it's going to you or if
Yeah, it's going to me.
some thought, so.
No, it's going to me.
It offers an opt out.
Yes, it does. It does, because that's the rules of a of a bulk delivery system is you have to have the stop automation. And this may become, I would say for now, start with a short story and you can make it into a longer story. Like mine was pretty long, but I've been working on that. That didn't happen in 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I
That's
don't
been-
think I can make it a really good quality in 10
Yeah.
minutes, but I can get the gist.
Just the major differences of who you are
Yeah,
in December 30, 23 versus who you are right now. It could be what you, it depends on what your goals are. It could be you describing your physical presence. It could be your mental presence. It could be your financial presence, like whatever you're going to connect to the most.
So that's your powered by agent number.
Yes, that's delivering that. Yep.
I'm just saving it by that.
I'll go back to step one.
Sure.
Natural versus inherited traits. I was fired from the job about 25 years ago. The reason I was fired is gave me the plan. I had to hire someone. Was because I was rough around the edges. I was fired rough around the edges. I carried that with me.
Really?
so do you think you're record?
I know I'm rough around the edges because I say it like it is, and I don't, you know what, and I was a manager with employees, and I would get like whining about, stop whining, go, you know, continue working, because it was a fluid place at the restaurant.
Okay.
So I got fired because I was rough around the edges, and it's something I've always carried with me. It's very, I've been very cautious, and I wrote it down as the first thing, and I carry it around every day.
Kind of like the stuff our parents planned.
Yeah, like I said, so the things that happen as a adult.
Yeah.
Child.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
I never thought of you as rough around the edges.
I'm softened.
Or maybe they just couldn't handle what you had to say. Yep.
A lot of this stuff is stuff that Nick has as well.
Does he? Okay.
Good.
All right. So some people can start running. Keep writing while others are sharing. I want to leave enough time for everybody to share the story. Again, it can be a quick story. It can develop, it should develop more over time because the more defined you are and the more you can physically, if you close your eyes, you can physically see this person and feel what this person is feeling, the more you'll connect with it, the more you'll realize like, yeah, that's someone I really want to be. And then you'll be more likely to work on, creating that action plan and those habit plans that are gonna help you get through this. So who wants to share first? All right,
So it's just a letter, right?
yep,
Because that's what I did. I wrote a letter about my goals or, like what happened in 2023 for me.
okay,
Alright. So it said, 2023. This year was unlike any other. I finally learned how to set boundaries with people and I learned how to say no. It was hard, but I did it. I had to stop making their problems my problems. And I had to stop letting their emotions affect me as they were. My daughter finally moved out of the house. It was hard, but we got through it. Since then, my business has gotten even better, as I have many less distractions to deal with, and I am in total control of handling the excessive messages by order of importance or emergency. I am now an elite agent with Real Broker.
yes,
Tracy and Jeff continue to support me and are still my biggest cheerleaders. Oh, by the way, me and Ted got super shit faced because after 2 years, we finally closed Country Club Acres. I made so much money this year that once again, I was able to take my best friend to Aruba. I also paid down a lot of my mortgage, and with a proper strategy in place, I was able to see more of my family out in Vermont.
nice,
Oh,
love
I
it,
like that.
love it, perfect,
I like that.
perfect.
I can go
Perfect. Now
next.
you can take that and you can create, these are the habits that I need to put into place to become that version of myself,
And I really, really need that to
Yeah.
happen. Yes.
right?
And you're gonna send us
it's-
the format that you have to.
Yeah, not to, and Jeff is right when he says it, it's not the to-dos on your to-do list, it's, habits are not to-dos.
These are not tasks, these
Right.
are reality.
Right. Well, and like most of the tasks we focus on, like, oh, we got a lot done today, they're not revolved around, like, a habit's not a task. A habit's,
Something
You
you
know,
do all the time.
you do all the
Yeah,
time,
right.
it's a repetitive action, it's a repetitive, something that you're gonna do differently. All right, who's next?
I can go next.
All right,
This year has been transformative. Your focus and your mental clarity have been impressive and a definite blessing. You made consistent calls to leads and mastered your work-life balance while all the deals were just coming in. We just closed, I say you and then we at the same time, but it's all me. We just closed on our 27th deal of the year, surpassing our initial goal of 20 deals. The flip we had went so well, we walked away with a $50,000 profit on our first deal after holding the property for only 4 months. We've learned so much and already have our second flip under agreement. Because you've done so well, you can now go away for a weekend of solo time where you could read by the beach.
yeah,
Nice.
all right,
Yes.
all right, who's next? Anybody, Jeff?
You hear me, Tracy?
I'm picking on you, Jeff.
I'm here.
John, you there?
I'm here.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
All
Mine's
right,
a short story. It's not as long as yours.
that's fine.
My 2023 has been a very busy year. With professional guidance, I have been able to balance my personal life with my career and remove unnecessary worries and stressful habits. This is a task I thought was impossible 1 to 2 years ago. I also took steps to secure my financial future by setting up a passive secondary income stream. With the encouragement and guidance from the team at Real Broker, I was able to buy 2 investment multifamilies and set them up with a property management company.
Nice.
Lost my place. Now I'm looking to purchase my third. As a result of joining Real, I was able to prioritize my activities to benefit my business needs. I had 35 transactions this year with only a couple of ultra clients. I don't know if everybody knows what that means, but
What are they?
Ultra?
so at the attorney's office that I use, instead of calling clients extra that are extra, they call them ultra.
Okay,
So everybody doesn't pick up on it. So I only had a couple ultra clients, and I rewarded myself for hitting my goals in 2023 by booking my family's 4th trip to Jamaica.
4th trip to where?
Jamaica.
All right. Love it. Is that it?
That's it. I told you it was short.
Okay, no, I just want to make sure. That was good. No, I love it. Perfect.
How many trips to Jamaica?
They're 4th,
This will be the 4th.
4th.
Nice.
Awesome, love it. Love it. Now you got everything you need to then develop a plan of what it's gonna need and who you need to, like the other thing we need to ask when, in addition to creating habits, a lot of times, I just want to point this out, that we're focused on the how to a lot, like how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do this? But you also need to focus on the who. Who do I need to surround myself with? And who I might need to access to help me get education I need around, if it's like, well, I don't know, how am I gonna, how am I gonna buy multifamily investment properties? Maybe it's like getting more in tune and involved in groups like REI that are a bunch of investors looking at properties so that you can find off-market deals or whatever. So in addition to your hows, when you're creating your habits, also think about and write down your who's. Who am I gonna need in my life? Who am I gonna surround myself with that I'm not now? And who do I maybe need to access for other things I'm gonna need from an educational standpoint or a collaboration standpoint or a partnership standpoint. So think about those things too. That was great. All right, who's next? You want to share?
Tracy, I'm going to take a
You haven't
pass.
talked enough, so I'm like feeling like
Yeah,
you
I
need to talk.
Okay,
You're-
are you sick?
We're worried.
Okay, so I'm going to take a pass on this because part of mine is confidential at this point.
Okay,
Oh.
all right. All right, I'll take that. All right, who's next? Couple more before we end.
Write the whole thing.
All right, well, write what you have, or just
All right, it's rough.
right off the head. It
It's
could be right off
rough
your head.
In 1 year, I have a new and improved habits that have helped me evolve into the person I've always wanted to be. Happy, great relationships with clients and personal. Building a successful business based on excellent reputation and great relationships with colleagues and clients. My business is now structured and flowing with more ease. I am organized and have separated my personal life and not allowed self-sabotage or allowed setbacks to take me out. I'm consistent with my habits and lead generation. And that's where I stopped.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
So that was more, I didn't talk about numbers or I guess my why. Of like, why am I doing all this?
Yeah, that could be the next step
Mhm,
for
yeah.
you, is getting it a little deeper.
Yeah,
If you can write it to the point where you almost get emotional about it,
yeah,
that's where you want to be,
yeah.
so that story is really like tugging at your heart, your own heartstrings. Like that's what's it going to do for you? What's it going to do for the people in your lives that you want to, bring something to, it's, anybody else want to share?
Oh,
What's that?
I can send you my, I was working on mine,
Okay, you are.
for the past
Yeah.
week and I had it on my desk.
Okay. All right, we're coming up on 11:56. Give me some feedback. The 3 hours went by quick, right?
I know.
And you guys were all thinking like, oh, I'm gonna be there for 3 hours.
No.
All the people that are gonna be texting me, even your mind, even if you're not hearing the dings, I know all our minds are like, I must have things I have to respond to. I must have emails I need to respond to. I must have phone calls that
Oh,
someone's having an
gosh.
emergency in my life.
Yes.
God, what is my kid, like someone, my loved ones or family, like they must be looking for me. Like we get into this mindset of reaction-based living. And we really need to get into proaction-based living,
Yeah.
which is, I am the controller of my destiny. I am also the controller of my day and my hours and my whatever, and everything. Everything. I am in 100% control of my emotions. I'm 100% control of my physical being, my mental being. I am 100% control. That might be something you affirm. Some people really need to go to the level of like writing affirmations every morning. I've never been personally able to get myself into that habit. But I've been trying to recently put in a habit of, before I go to sleep at night, just saying like, everything I want in my life is going to come to me. And like trying to go to sleep in a positive manner, instead of, I don't know how many of you occasionally it happens to me. I'm like, I'm falling asleep worrying about something. I don't think that's a good way to go to sleep.
No.
I think our minds work in mysterious ways, even when we're sleeping. So, what are you putting in your head at night? And what are you putting in your head in the morning? Maybe the rest of the day goes to complete shit, but at least you started it, ended it right.
Right?
Yep, that's true.
Tracy, just as you said that you were the master, you were in control of your life and your destiny and all of that, and I thought inside, yes, absolutely. And I took a sip of water and I poured it on my face and down my shirt because I was so in control. But it makes me remember what you
It
said.
shows you can even lose control drinking,
Water.
It's the problem.
right? Right? At the end of the day, nobody's perfect. Like if you listen to the book that I mentioned earlier, which is Interview with the Devil, or Outwit, it's called Outwitting the Devil. Nobody's
Outwitting.
perfect. We're all gonna have our, just distractions that we like to get distracted in. Could be, a drink or two, it could be a Netflix series, it could be like just laying on the couch all day and doing nothing. Like there's no such thing as living in a perfect harmony of always like being in perfect land. There's no such thing.
Yeah,
We just have to understand that and recognize when something's that won't work for us long term is trying to poke its ugly head.
but
Like if you can start to think about like this is probably easier for Steve than it is for some of us, which is being very observant, is observe every little thing that's going on in your life. If you start to look at what's going on in your days as if you were an outside observer, like let me just follow around Amanda all day long and see what her days are like and judge yourself.
That's too scary. That's pushing it.
What did he say?
But it is, you're like, okay, what did I just do?
But I
Why,
actually kinda
why
like
did
that.
why did I just decide to get out of what I was supposed to be doing and decide to answer this email or whatever it may be? Is like, why did that happen? Is there something I could do to avoid it? Is it just something I have to accept for now? Like, start to question everything you do. And if it's a positive habit, is it a negative habit? Is it out of your control? Is it within your control? Like we couldn't control the economy, but now we can. This is why, I look at 2023. I'm more excited about 2023 than what I knew happened in 2022.
Mhm.
Because 2022, you could have every plan in the world, and it just came to hit a brick wall
Yeah.
in July.
Sure did,
We know what was ahead for us in 2023.
right,
We know what we're going to be dealing with. We know that we're going to have to work a little harder for our deals.
Yep.
We're going to have to find people that are more motivated. So then in addition to habits, like we all want to do, we're all in real estate, we all want to do deals.
Mhm.
I think the best thing we can do is focus on relationships and in building as many good relationships as we can. But then when it comes to, okay, well, all the people that are in and around my life, I can build good relationships with them, but it's not necessarily going to feed me real estate deals.
Right,
So then how can I go find people that are motivated that I can build relationships with? And think of that not like, oh, where can I go find people in your investment world? Where can I go find people that want to sell their ugly home to me? No, it's like, where can I go find ugly homes where they're just are in a lot of stress and I can help them out? Maybe it leads to me buying the property. Like I used to approach in the last strange ass market, short sales they would get 20, 30, 40 letters. I would get a lot of calls because all my letters said is I want to help you in any way I can. If that means helping you get a modification, I will help you do that. If that means you getting a refinance, I will help you do that. If it ends up being that you can't keep your home and you have to sell it, if I can't buy it, I'll help you find a solution. That was it. That's all my letter said. Everybody else was like, I'll buy your house cash. I'll do this. I'll do that. I want to buy it in 10 days or less. And that wasn't
so they're
that
like
wasn't
vultures.
committed. Yeah, it wasn't committed to the relationship and just helping people. The money will come when you help people that need help.
I agree.
The money will come. You just have to find people that need your help and guidance. Sometimes it's not even real estate related. Like they just need someone to lean on. You could make a business out of just being a positive impact in people's lives.
We have to we have to change that used car salesman mentality that sadly does exist, and we need to not be that person. And
Right.
how we're gonna get more business because we're gonna be authentic,
exactly,
right? And not just
exactly.
vultures.
Tell me more about your life.
Business.
Like, just because they registered on your website does not mean, or they registered for one of our ads on like, hey,
Yeah.
here's how grant program information, or buying your first home, or buying a home money down, or whatever the way that people come into your
Right,
world of, maybe I want to do something in real estate. You have to start thinking about like, they're just a maybe. You know,
right.
you're looking at it like, how can I get them to, like,
Right.
maybe they're my next closing. You gotta look at them like, I don't even know where they're at. Until I can meet them where they're at,
Mhm.
there's no way I can figure out whether I can help them.
That's
So you have to dive deep to be able to really feel where someone's feeling and why they're saying, I'm thinking about buying, I'm thinking
Yeah.
about selling, whatever it may be. You have to meet them where they're at. And if you can't get to where they're at, you'll never be successful long-term in this business.
And it's more enjoyable for us to have these relationships.
It is.
We
It is.
feel better about ourselves.
Right, as long as if we're the type of person that internalizes that stuff, we just have to know, what are my habits going to be when I dig deep with people and they're just, how can I protect myself still? Like, and that's, we all have some challenge when it comes to, like, for me, I'm like let's just keep driving, like, I don't, in a perfect world, I'm probably not the personality type that wanna like know about all your shit. Like, don't tell me about all your shit. But the reality is I have to know their shit to get to where they are. Other people are just naturally like more people inclined, or more people like relationship driven, and they, like you guys,
Spill
like,
shit.
I want.
yeah, like people just spill their shit without even asking. Because they can tell, like, this is someone I can spill my shit to. People don't look at me like someone they could spill their shit to,
$45 now.
right? So we all gonna have our struggles with that. Like, I'm gonna struggle building harder relationships, and I have to like focus on slowing down. I got a lot of things I want to do in my day, but how can I slow down and
Yes.
be with that person? On the other hand, you have people that are very good at that stuff that are gonna be like, have the struggle of, I just need to make sure that I have a habit for figure out how to not internalize it and take it on and become a bunch of people's.
That's my daughter.
bunch of
That's not
people-
me, that's my
Like, there's some
daughter.
people that'll be carrying like 5 people's emotions at once.
Yeah. that's-
Like, no, I'm not even carrying my own emotion right now. I'm carrying everybody else's emotion.
That's empathy. That's
It's difficult.
That's the
It
challenge.
is. But I don't think there's any way around doing the kind of business you want to in 2023 and beyond, because for a couple of reasons. One is we're in a market that's going to be highly emotional driven. There are going to be people that really have a motivation to do something. You're not like, nobody's just naturally getting out of bed and saying, oh my God, it's an amazing time to buy right now, because the rates are so freaking awesome. They're just not going to be. But they're gonna, in their head, they're gonna be like, no, I really want to buy a house. But I have these emotions of not feeling like the interest rates are great, and like the prices haven't come down that much. What's going to happen with the market? So they can't answer those questions at all. They want someone to lean on, to talk to that stuff about, but they don't know who to talk to that stuff about, because most agents don't want to get deep with them on that level.
And sometimes they're scared and they don't feel safe.
They're scared to ask the questions. They're scared to think people thinking they're stupid, because just like all this stuff,
Exactly.
all the stuff we talked about today, we get together on things like this and we talk about it. What does the average everyday person that's out there, that's in your lives, actually have like times when they sit down and talk about this stuff? They don't.
They don't.
They don't. So they're carrying a bunch of bad habits and
Yeah.
other people's baggage, and
Crap, yep.
like all that other crap. So we have to realize that too. It's like they some of it might not be the best thing that we think people's lives in this business may not be that we help them buy or close on a home. It may be how we gave them a positive outlook on their life. We don't know what we're dealing with. We may be dealing with people that are on the edge of losing all sense of reality.
So we don't think about how we affect people. And Jeff is the one who taught me that. He's like, you never know how you positively impacted somebody, because maybe you
Right.
have, they just haven't told you.
Right. So somebody like grumps at you, right?
Yeah.
Your reaction is, what the fuck is your problem? Right? That's usually my first. But I'm trying to, at an older age in life, be like, why are they acting like that?
That pain.
I don't necessarily know why they're approaching people like that.
Mhm.
Maybe I need to talk to them.
Or
Maybe I need to try to become closer to them, to figure out what is going on in their life that makes them want to react that way
Or ask them a question.
to somebody that didn't even say anything. Like, how you doing? You know what I mean? Like,
That's the
Right?
Massachusetts way.
Right? It is the Massachusetts way.
It's too bad. I
It
know,
is the
it is there though.
So we just
have
need
to
to be
stop
conscious of that stuff and know that our key to our success is the depth of our relationships in 2023.
Yes. Which is
Want
why I
more
got into
business? Want more business? You have to have more relationships.
No, I wanna do one.
That's why I got in this business in the first place. I think I lost
Yeah.
sight of it. Yeah.
Gone are the days that you can collect the low hanging fruit and close some deals and not have a relationship with anybody.
5-year relationship a
Yeah,
day.
but I
What?
just-
5-year relationship a day.
You know.
Exactly. 5 new.
A day.
I put a post out the other day that just said, if you focus every day on having 2 really good conversations, like longer than 2 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, 2 per day. You can only repeat one person one time. You can't repeat any one person one time a week. So that's 12, or even if you take a day off, it's 12
You need
conversations
to call me.
with people every week.
Which is the
You-
deprogramming of the
right.
old KW mindset of call.
Right.
Oh, I made
12,
50. Ooh,
right?
see if you can make 100. And then you get lost in the shuffle and forget, like, wait, why am I making these phone calls?
Right.
It's not to just cross it off my
Right.
list. that
But
I-
you've already had 9 conversations today.
I know. But I'm saying, like, I have to deprogram from that KW.
I prefer they be
old
one-on-one
mentality.
If you're gonna count them, one-on-one conversations.
Yeah.
I'm not letting you off the hook. That doesn't count. Your week isn't over.
Tracy, this was
right,
fabulous.
good.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
it was. Thank you.
This was really eye-opening.
This is the kind of stuff that I love.
So how often do you do stuff like this?
If you enjoy it more often. Rather than just talking about forms and bullshit like that, like,
Yes,
that's
I know, that's
like-
it's like, you know.
I-
Even talking about the forms and stuff like.
oh yeah, we'll do that.
We need some forms too.
No.
We need some structure.